Hey family, good morning. Oh my goodness. It is the beginning of summer and believe it or not, temperature is 54 degrees outside. I'm turning this thing up, man, to 75. We got to warm up and it's unbelievable. It's summer. I'm not really sure what's happening with the weather. You would think that about this time, right? That you know, would have dealing with what we have. So today, make it a very, very productive day, all right? A lot of stuff going on in the news. I think these negotiations with the US and Iran and, just Israel just acting up in the background. Oh my goodness, I don't know when we're gonna have a break. I really don't know. And with I think it's a threat, or there was some bombings that occurred between Israel, which targeted Beirut. I can just I'm imagining the gas prices going up even more. Even though yesterday, I must say, with a car wash, gas price was a little under $4, right, at one of our Exxons here. And yeah, for the other car, I maximize it. But one of the joys of driving an electric vehicle, you don't have to worry about gas all the time. But I still keep a gas car because, can't get away from the good old petrol, right? But yeah, I mean, we really and truly, man, have to pay attention to what's going on with things in the yeah. I know where I'm going. You gotta pay attention to what's going on. Don't ignore the happenings in the news, because there's a lot of things happening, good and bad, more so bad. So pay attention. I think I also because one thing I do when I get up in the morning, once my alarm goes off, the highlights for yesterday play. I just like to kind of stay in the know. And so I realized where they said that the cost of produce has gone up, especially for tomatoes. I think I heard something about like watermelon and some other stuff that restaurants use. And as a result, economists are encouraging business owners, especially restaurants, to increase their prices if they want to remain open. It's sad, man. It is sad. It is very, very sad. So pay attention and budget accordingly, and just make sure that you have some reserves. All right, make sure that you have some reserves. I don't know if it's gonna get any better anytime soon, but just make sure that you have some reserves. If you can minimize, wow, that's a nice looking is a nice looking Maxima right there. Yeah, that's a nice Maxima, very beautiful car. But yeah, if you can minimize the amount of right, you should. Nice Maxima. I mean, you gotta give credit where credit is due. And just the kind of going out, cook more food. Even if you can't cook, man, you got tons of YouTube channels. Get on there and learn from one of these chefs online how to make a meal. And the money that you would spend eating out, I believe that if you go to the supermarket and purchase the ingredients for what you would have gone out to eat and just try to make it, one, I think it will be healthier, and two, you realize that, man, you just saved a bunch of money by actually not going out to eat right now. All right, so hey, pay attention to what's going on. Don't ignore it. And just keep faith alive and keep hope alive, man. And if you have a job, try to keep the job, because their layoffs are still happening. All right, and none of us are secure. So if you have a job, try your best to keep your job, which means go to work on time, go to work when you're supposed to go to work. One of the things that I did, I am a workaholic, and so I started a business a few years ago. Nothing, fancy, right? I started a commercial cleaning business here, and it's going well. We've acquired quite a few clients, and I have some great people that work for me. And long days. Sometimes I work 7 days a week, but the good thing is my 9 to 5 is Monday through Friday, and then my business, I do that after working hours, and I do a couple hours here and there, and then my team, man, I'm telling you, if I didn't have this team, it would have been hard. But I say this to say that if you have a skill or you have a dream, right, there are ways to finance the dream and bring it to life, even if it's cutting grass, doing some landscaping, doing some painting, finding something to bring in a second stream of income, right? Because you're gonna need it. And I mean, there are so many opportunities, not just here in the States, but I love Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, and my eyes are set on being home more, right? Even in Jamaica, there are tons of opportunities, and I realize that there's a lot of development going on in Jamaica, which I think are good, great. A lot of construction, a lot of property is being developed and stuff like that, and roads are being repaired, roads are being made, right, which makes it easier for commuters to move around the island and get to certain businesses that have been struggling because of bad roads. All right, but tons of opportunity. And I'm gonna tell you this, the more I have my heart set on Jamaica, I'm also thinking, what can I do in Jamaica to stimulate the economy, or help to stimulate the economy to create jobs. That's how I think, and that's how all of us should think. What can I do to make my my region, my country, my city, my village better? And just think, because you guys have some great ideas, all of us do, right? And right now is the time when you really need to bring those dreams into reality. All right, because you can do it. You can do it. All of us have the ability to do better for ourselves. All right, and I want to encourage you, because I know that you have the ability. Get up and do something. All right, find something to do. So one of my brother said to me the other day that in Jamaica it's hard to have a second job, because the hours that you have to work in Jamaica, it's very, very difficult to maintain a second job. I don't know where this idiot is speeding to, and see you go around me and you still have to stop. These people are crazy, man. They're absolutely nuts. Look at him cutting off traffic. Oh my, from Jersey too. I should read out your tag numbers. But yeah, absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But anyway, I was saying about having a second stream of income, because you need it. I remember so he was saying, train of thoughts, he was saying that it's hard to have a second job in Jamaica for a lot of people, because you're pretty much locked into a 40-hour work week, and so by the time you get off of work and you have to deal with the commute to get home, you're tired. And I get it, but man, try. Me, I would try. I remember growing up in Jamaica, right? I'm a St. Jago guy. Went to St. Jago High School, and I remember I think I was maybe about 13 at the time. Walking from St. Jago to the bus terminal to catch the bus, and on my walk, I would always go past the livestock store, and I remember one day some yellow chickens caught my attention, and I just, a sense of curiosity just developed, right? And I saved up my lunch money, man, for I don't know how long I saved up for. This guy's not even in his lane, man. Speed limit. Let me do the speed limit because I don't know what's going on. Not even in his lane. But anyway, saved up my lunch money for a few weeks, and then crazy. Can't even see him, but not even in his lane. But anyway, saved up my lunch for a few weeks, and then I bought 6 little yellow chickens. Didn't have a plan, but I just knew I wanted some chickens, right? And my parents were the type of parents that, man, they would cuss about everything. So on the bus ride home, here I am, fretting myself, wondering what my mother and my father gonna say when I roll up in the house with some chickens. No chicken coop, no feed, no plan. I just wanted some chickens. But they responded very well to it. My father built me a chicken coop in the backyard. We lived in Westmead. So if you know Westmead in Portmore, yeah, had a decent sized backyard, yeah. And so, he built me a chicken coop, and then he taught me the runnings, right? Buy the chicken feed. So I had to buy my own chicken feed, of course, your chickens. And they taught me responsibility. And I think that is where my passion for business, my passion for wanting to do a lot just kind of began to blossom, as a 13-year-old. And so, I knew that I had some dreams of doing things. I don't know if you would say doing great things, but doing things that, I could really look back and say, man, I did that. And so those chickens, man, I tell you, when the neighbors realized that little Ricardo was growing chickens, they said, boy, when the chicken them ready, we'll buy one off for you. And they did that. I mean, we're talking about back in the early 80s. I'm telling my age, right? Back in the early 80s, before Gilbert's time, 1988, right? And so, yeah, they supported. And so I learned and realized that I could cycle the chickens. So whenever I got down to 3, I bought some more, and then my father divided the chicken coop, and I think he extended. And so, I had those that were getting ready to be killed, and those that were coming in. So I did that for some time, and I tell you, I earned a nice little change, as a young man, and that just taught me the impact that hard work can have on a young person's mindset. And hard work does work, right? So I want to say this to say that, listen, it doesn't matter where you are, in Africa, in Haiti, in wherever you are, in North Carolina, Canada, wherever you are, in Jamaica, I think they say, take your hand and turn fashion. Well, do something, do more, and do as much as you can, right? Because your prosperity and your success is right over the horizon. You just have to get moving. Listen, let me go ahead and pay attention to this traffic. I hope you guys like this post. It's just a motivation and encouragement. Even though the morning cold, 75 in the car, feeling a little nicer now. Whew, man, I tell you. But anyway, listen, man, y'all be safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next post. Peace. I'm out.